Welcome to the next video for the Sailing Academy. Today I have another special guest, my good friend from Singapore, Griselda Khng.
Hello.
So, Griselda, you made your way from the Optimist all the way to the Rio Olympic Games.
Yeah, that's
Can
right.
you just explain a little bit how you got started in the Optimist, and then let's talk a little bit about this special World Championship in Uruguay.
Alright, so I started sailing when I was about 10 years old, and it was my dad actually got my brothers and I signed up to the school holiday program. So we started at this sailing club called Singapore Armed Forces Yacht Club, and so it was this school holiday program, and then after we were done with that, they offered further sailing courses. So we actually did that whole thing, and then we eventually got up to the racing standard. And when I first started sailing, I absolutely hated it. Like, I was really scared of being in the water. Like, I still am actually, but yeah, anyways.
You're scared of being in the water?
Well, underwater, yeah.
Is it because you can't swim or just because of the water?
Well, yeah, number one, I'm not a very strong swimmer. And number two, I nearly drowned actually. So like, I just have this phobia of being underwater for like too long. But anyways,
That's a good thing for a sailor actually.
Yeah, exactly. So the whole idea is to stay upright, out of the water. Yeah.
Don't get wet.
Yeah, might move faster that way. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, got through racing, and I eventually got a bit better. And I basically did rose through the whole ranking system. Yeah, so I did the junior sailing, and then I did youth sailing, and then now I'm doing Olympic sailing.
Okay.
Yeah.
To stay a little bit on the Optimist, you did 2 World Championships, right?
No, I did 3.
3 even?
Yeah.
Which was?
I did Ecuador, St. Moritz, same as you, and Uruguay.
Okay. And I mean, coming to the World Championship in Uruguay in 2006 was kind of special to you.
Yeah,
and
it's something I'll
for
never
me too.
ever forget.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who you were rooting for, your brother or me? Come on.
No. So, yeah, of course I know the story from the point of view of my brother, so maybe you could just tell a little bit what happened, and what happened to you there, and how the worlds went in total, like.
Yeah, so going back 12 years, I remember it like it was just yesterday. And what happened was Julian and I went into the final race of the World Championship. We had to battle it out in the final race to see who would take the title. So I was actually leading going into the last race. So I messed up the start, and I was like...
So did Julian, huh?
Yeah, exactly. When I looked back and I saw he was like at least 100 meters away, I felt like a bit calm. But then his boat speed, I tell you, like he was killing it on the reach and on the downwind. By the time we went to the bottom mark, we rounded at the same time, we split. So he went to the left side of the course, I went to the right, and basically it was just a race to the finish line, and well, he eventually got there first. But I remember it was pretty strong winds that day, and I guess it was like the last few 100 meters that really got to me. Like by the time I finished, my boat was pretty full of water and I was so tired, and basically Julian had to just get like 1 or 2 boats between us, and he eventually did that. And
but would you say you got nervous when he got closer in the end, or?
Yeah, I guess so. Because when we rounded the top mark and I looked back, he was so far behind. Yeah. And by the time we got to the next 2 legs, he was already right on my tail. So his boat speed was really good, and I remember he was tacking a few times right in front of me, we split tack and stuff. And there was actually this guy, if I'm not wrong, he was from Argentina. He saw Julian tack in front of me and he thought it was a foul, but well, in that moment I didn't exactly say anything. But so I remember at the end of the race, Julian asked me, he came to me and asked if I was actually going to protest him. Yeah, I'm not sure if he told you this, but yeah, well, I didn't do anything. I thought it was okay.
Anyway,
still.
It was a really good regatta for you, huh? Finishing second, best girl, and winning the team race World Championship
and the Nations Cup. Yeah, it's pretty special. It
Yeah.
was my final year in Opti, so it was really good to end it on a high note. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the Optimist team racing. I guess you did it a lot since you won even the World Championship. Would you say it helped you with your sailing, like the normal sailing, and also for your later career?
I think it really helps me understand how to do boat-to-boat tactics, which definitely can help me in tight situations, for example, which always happens. Like, it just has to come to you natural. You can't be like thinking about the rules and stuff, and you also need to like understand how to like attack and defend yourself so that you can actually like use that to your advantage during the race. So I think definitely it helps me a lot, especially when you're trying to like win the regatta and it really comes down to that last race or something, and you really have to fight it out like boat to boat. So I think like understanding like how to actually put yourself in a position that will benefit you will definitely help.
Okay. So would you recommend it for Optimist sailors to learn team racing and to do team racing?
Yeah, definitely.
Events?
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks. Coming to your Olympic sailing, you're sailing the FX now.
Yeah, that's right.
Been already to Rio. Just a few words about your way from the Optimist to Rio, and then how the Olympic Games went.
So I think that I did pretty well in Opti, and then I moved on to the 420. I actually did pretty well as well. I finished third at my final youth worlds in Buzios.
That's good.
Yeah, then I finally moved out of the youth class and went to the Olympic class, and it's taught me a lot. Like, when I stopped sailing the youth class, I kind of stopped sailing for a bit because I started uni, and all of a sudden, like, I had a social life. So that was really nice. I was like normal, you know. I was studying, I was going out with my friends, I was doing other things apart from sailing.
Living in one place.
Yeah, exactly. So like for me, that was nice to finally have a life. Yeah. But somehow I got roped into sailing again in 2012 when one of my friends wanted to do the 420 Worlds with me. So like that plan didn't exactly go down as we had planned. I ended up sailing with this girl who only sailed the 420 for like a year or something.
Okay.
But anyways, we managed to qualify for the World Championship, and I managed to do really well. Like, I finished third. So after like a hiatus from sailing, I think that was like the turning point for me. I thought like maybe I should like take it more seriously. Exactly. Like previously, I had wanted to sail the 470, but I just never had the chance to, because there was just no one in Singapore to sail with. Like the pool of like sailors is just that small, because after the youth class, people usually quit. Like they move on to other things in life. They're either studying or getting a job. Yeah. So I just didn't have anyone to sail with. But in 2012, I think like they first introduced the FX, and since I did really well at the 420 World Championship in 2012, I thought I would give sailing a go again, and so I did. And I actually had someone to sail with, and we eventually decided that we wanted to try out for the Olympics. So
and succeeded in the end.
Yeah. So that went well. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Olympic Games. Like, how did you get there? The preparation for the Olympic Games, the weeks before, and then tell us a little bit about the experience of the regatta itself.
I think like the whole lead up to the Olympic Games was a very special journey for me. It's something that I would definitely not learn in like a classroom. Like, it's taught me a lot about myself, how to like handle other people in like pressured situations and stuff, and it just really teaches you how to like adapt, and well, it's really taught me a lot basically. But when I first started out, we had this coach. He didn't exactly know much about skiff sailing, so we ended up changing coaches several times.
Okay.
But we eventually found someone happy, Fernando. He actually coached me at the 2006
Argentinian guy, right?
Peru.
Peru.
Yeah, he coached me at that 2006 Optimist World Championship. So like he didn't know so much about the FX neither, but he had contacts that like helped him expand his knowledge and stuff. And then he was working with us for about 2 years leading up to the games.
Okay.
So that was really good.
The consistency to have
yeah,
the same coach who already knew you
exactly.
for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. He knows how to like push my buttons and like how to like motivate me and get me to like my peak and stuff.
Yeah.
So getting to the Olympics, like we had to beat this other pair. Actually, there was one other pair in 2014, and then she stopped after a while.
Okay.
And then after that, there was another pair, so we had to beat them. But before that, we had to qualify our country to the Olympics. So in 2015, at the World Championship, we managed to get the second country that didn't already qualify. So that World Championship, we did pretty well. We finished 13th in Buenos Aires.
Good, yeah.
So that secured the spot for Singapore to the games. And then our next mission was to qualify ourselves. So we did that in Palma, and that's how we competed at the Rio Olympic Games.
How was the regatta in Rio itself? Like emotionally,
So everyone
first day?
everyone is like expecting lightish winds, right?
Yeah.
Everyone is like losing weight, especially in like the 470 class. But come the Olympic Games, it was the total opposite, obviously. So it was really strong winds. I remember the entire regatta. One thing that I was really happy with were my starts. Like we were actually watching the GPS tracking and stuff after the competition, and we saw that like I managed to do really good starts. I think like 10 out of 12 races immediately after the start, we were top 5, top 3.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a
so
good
yeah,
start, huh?
yeah, exactly. But unfortunately, we could not like hold on to those really good positions and capitalize on them. So we ended up losing out, and that's why like I'm really motivated to actually do another campaign and make sure that I get it right this time. Yeah.
How did you end up in total in Rio?
15th.
That's nice. It's good, huh?
Yeah, not what I had wanted, but
Okay.
yeah, like
Happens.
yeah, it was an experience.
So now next goal is Tokyo 2020.
Yeah, that's right.
How is your preparation going?
So this whole journey that I'm on again is super unorthodox. I'm starting with a girl who had never sailed before last year. So like what
What's her
happened?
name?
Her name is Olivia. So what happened was like after the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, my previous partner Sarah, she decided to go back to uni. So like she was doing that, but then to actually secure funding for this campaign, we had to tell the government whether we were going to continue together or not. But Sarah eventually said that she did not want to do it anymore. Like she's happy with the results that she's got. Like she's been to the Olympics and everything. Fair enough. So she went back to uni and she was just doing that. So I knew that I wanted to continue towards Tokyo 2020. So I had to look for someone to sail with. Because I'm pretty small, like that makes it even more difficult to find someone, because you know in sailing, like your physical attributes matter. So I had to find someone tall and big to compensate for my small size. Yeah, so I actually looked within the sailing community, but like I said before, like the pool of sailors is that small, and everyone that I had asked was either studying or working already, and they just did not want to like stop what they were doing and start a whole new chapter in their life. Yeah, so I then had to look out of the sailing community, and I was looking at other athletes, you know, and I was then looking at like other sports that required tall girls, like basketball or netball. So Olivia like is a netballer.
Okay.
What happened was I was like one of my mates is really one of my really good mates, she's a netballer, and so like I was asking her if she might know anyone who might be interested. And so I was not expecting so much, but she did come back with a name. And at that time I was already in Perth. So what happened was she got back to me with a name, and I immediately contacted Olivia, eventually, like, she flew down to Perth to try sailing for the first time, but
And she
by
liked
then,
it.
by then, like, she already had like one foot in the door. We were already thinking of ways to actually raise money.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how we started. Yeah, she's a netballer that had never sailed or been on a boat before last year, January. So it's been a pretty tough journey, especially because I started sailing with someone new, and so I just did not get funding at all.
From the
So,
federation.
From the
Or
federation,
generally?
from the government,
Okay.
from nobody, basically. So that was really tough, and yeah, it was just a really tough decision for us to actually like go ahead with it, just because of like the enormous amount of efforts that we have to do outside of sailing,
Yeah.
which already requires like 100% of your effort already. But anyways, like we really want this, so like we were trying to like plan something that would fit our budget. So like last year we actually started out with crowdfunding, and
Okay.
we relied on that and donations and family.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
everywhere it's the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then this year we had a really good sponsor. So yeah, right now we have to like continue looking for sponsors
Yeah.
to take us all the way to Tokyo 2020. Yeah, the only thing was that like it's really difficult because we didn't have money for a coach.
No,
So like I basically was a coach. Like
you were coaching your crew.
I was coaching my crew. Like it was hard.
No,
Uh,
I can believe that.
Yeah, exactly. And then also because we don't have like that much money, so we ended up like sleeping in cars and stuff instead of like stopping at like
Having a proper
hotels and stuff.
accommodation.
Exactly. And like some places we go to, like Perth for example, we had to save money, so we ended up like couch surfing and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, as well. And
Sounds tough for an Olympic campaign.
yeah, and like right now, like I just came back from Perth as well, and we were actually like working like
Next to
at least
your training.
yeah, at least like 4 times a week.
Okay.
So it's all about time management, and yeah,
That's
really.
what you learn now. in the
Ah,
next
yeah.
campaign.
Exactly.
Then I would like to talk about something that Europeans don't know. The Americans have the Pan Am Games. We don't have any European games, at least not for sailing.
Right.
In Asia, it's pretty big, the Asian Games, and you also have the Southeast
Southeast Asian
Games.
Yeah.
Just explain a little bit what it is and how important it is, especially for all the Asian
Yeah. So
countries.
Singapore really focuses on all these games because they wanna like really show like all the other Southeast Asian countries that we are really strong in
In
sports and in everything else that we want to do, you know. So it's very important for us to actually shine at those
Okay.
games. Yeah, and like Asian games is equally important. Like Singapore really like places a lot of emphasis also on the Asian games because there are a lot of powerhouses in Asia. For example, India, China, Korea, Japan, and compared to them, Singapore is just like one tiny like
Little.
dot. Yeah. So
okay.
so like if we can actually like compete and show that we are as good as them, then like it's great, you
Very
know.
special.
Yeah.
okay.
It's
Would you say that this is like I heard before that it's almost the same, or it's as important as Olympic Games for the Asian countries? Is it the same for all the Asian countries, or is it especially for Singapore so special?
I think that all the Asian countries, yeah, they want to do very well at the Asian Games, but especially for Singapore, I think like they really like channel a lot of funding into that just so
Okay.
that we can like
So if you do well there, you can also get better funding after.
exactly. So what happens is if we do very well at the Asian Games, for example, then the government like will reward you monetarily,
Okay.
and depending on what federation you're with, like some of the federation requires you to actually like donate a cut of your monetary wins
Okay, yeah.
back to the federation so that they can
To the
then
sporting
use it.
system,
Yeah,
actually.
exactly. And
Okay.
then they can like support like the development
Yeah,
programs and
okay.
all the youth and so on.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
And to come to the last question,
Yeah.
if you would have to give an advice to young people sailing, or from your experience, what would you say?
I would say no matter how hard it gets, as long as you really want something, just go all out for it.
All out.
All out.
Okay.
Yeah. Never
Thank
stop
you very
chasing your
much.
dreams. Thank you very much, Philip.
See
I
you
hope you
for the next
enjoy
races.
the beautiful island of Sentosa here in Singapore.